What will happen to my Facebook account when I die? Facebook is a great platform to be on, but stuff happens, and one day all of us mortals will have to leave this earth. Watch out what happens when a user passes away and how Facebook makes sure the user's memory lives on or not. This is important information because nearly everyone nowadays has a Facebook profile, and owning a digital asset such as a social media account has legal and estate consequences that go far beyond the usual informal trifecta of likes, shares, and comments. Find out more. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Sweetie Kiwi Show. I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous today. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today I want to talk to you about what will happen to your Facebook account if something were to happen, if the unforeseen were to happen to you. In a nutshell, you can choose to either appoint a legacy contact to look after your memorialized account or have your account permanently deleted from Facebook. If you don't choose to have your account permanently deleted, it will be memorialized if Facebook, for that matter, becomes aware of your passing. Now let's first talk about what is a memorialized account. A memorialized account is a place for friends and family to gather and share memories after a person has passed away. Memorialized accounts have the following key features. The word remembering will always be shown next to the person's name on their profile. Depending on the privacy settings of the account, friends can share memories on the memorialized timeline. Content the person shared, examples, photos, posts, videos, stays on Facebook and is visible on Facebook to the audience it was shared with. Memorialized profiles don't appear in public spaces such as in suggestions for people you may know, ads, or birthday reminders. No one can log into a memorialized account. Memorialized accounts that don't have a legacy contact cannot be changed. And pages with a sole admin whose account was memorialized will be removed from Facebook if Facebook receives a valid memorialization request. So the important element here is to understand that you have not only the remembering feature on the deceased person's name on their profile, and also the fact that nobody can log into that memorialized account. It is an account that is, if you will, static. That stays there, is memorialized, so you can't log into it. Another thing that is very important when talking about memorialized account is that you have to think about friends and family. So for friends and family who wants to have a space on the platform to remember the loved one who has departed, they can create another place for people on Facebook, and they can have a group. And in that group, they can share memories of the loved one. They can share content. They can share, written posts, videos, and photos. You can request the memorialization of an account or request the removal of a deceased person's account from Facebook. So if a friend has passed away, you or their family can memorialize their Facebook account. Memorialized accounts don't appear in ads. As I said earlier, they don't appear in birthday reminders or suggestions for people you may know. Remember though that memorialization is a pretty big decision. So before requesting memorialization, Facebook recommends reaching out to the person's family, and you can learn more about the memorialization, or you can contact Facebook to request the memorialization of that person's account. Now, here is how the request looks like. We have actually taken a screenshot of that request and we are sharing with you in the video right now. So if you look at the page here, you can see that It starts with the formal sort of greeting. We are sorry to hear about your loss, and we are working to make sure your report will get reviewed. Please note that we have fewer people available because of the pandemic, which means it may take an additional time to. Those are just niceties. Those are just formalities. Now, what Facebook wants to know once you reach out to them, it wants to know who passed away. So they want you to provide their Facebook profile URL link. If you cannot find who you're looking for, you can try. They have another special request form. We're not able to get that screenshot because you really need to have like somebody who has died for real, which we haven't. We're just doing this for the research for this show. Now, once you have the link for their profile, Facebook also wants to hear from you. They want to have the date of the death. So when did the person pass away? You have to put that. They also want you to provide a scan or photo of your loved one's obituary, death certificate, memorial card, or other documentation confirming that they have passed away. And last but not the least, they want you to put your email address. Remember, you sending this, if you want your loved ones who has passed away, if you want their account to be memorialized, you have to contact Facebook. You can be a friend, you can also be a relative, doesn't matter, but you have to go through this step. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Q. We're also having a conversation today around what will happen to my Facebook account when I die. Now, I've spoken to you earlier about memorialization accounts. Now, let's talk about legacy contacts. There's another element that's very important. It's a pillar in the whole memorialization process on Facebook, and that's called a legacy contact. If you love the content you've been hearing so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you can be informed in real time whenever we drop a new show. And we do this every single day, rain or shine. What is a legacy contact? This is someone you choose to look after your account if it's memorialized. Facebook strongly suggests setting a legacy contact so your account can be managed once it has become memorialized. A legacy contact can accept friend requests on behalf of a memorialized account, pin a tribute post to the profile, and change the profile picture and cover photo. If the memorialized account has an area for tributes, a legacy contact will be able to decide who can see and who can post tributes. Now, let's talk about what legacy contacts can do. A legacy contact. If you add a legacy contact, that person will be able to make decisions about your account once it has become memorialized. Your legacy contact can write a pinned post for your profile. Example, they can share a final message on your behalf or provide information about a memorial service. They can update your profile picture and cover photo. They can request the removal of your account. They can download a copy of what you've shared on Facebook if you have this feature turned on. One thing that is important to mention here is that Facebook is constantly adding more capabilities for legacy contacts, so it would be great to see what new features the platform comes up with in the future. If you choose a legacy contact, he or she cannot log into your account, read your messages, remove any of your friends, or make new friend requests. This is really important to specify. So legacy contacts can do certain things, but they cannot change, if you will, the integrity of the original Facebook account before the deceased person's passed away, before the person passes away. Now let's talk about how to add, change, or remove a legacy contact. You can add, change, or remove your legacy contact in your account's general settings at any time. So to add a legacy contact, you want to click the drop down menu in the top right of Facebook. So you select settings settings and privacy. You go to settings and you want to click there, memorialization settings. You can type in a friend's name and choose a friend and click add. To let your friends know they're now your legacy contact, click send. To change or remove a legacy contact, follow steps 1 or 2 above, then click remove. From there, you can add a new legacy contact if you would like. If your account is memorialized, your legacy contact will be notified. Remember though that you must be 18 or older to select a legacy contact. How to manage a memorialized account as a legacy contact. To manage a memorialized account, you want to go to the memorialized profile. So in the bottom right of the cover photo, you want to click manage. Use the menu on the left to do things like add a pinned post, respond to new friend request, change the profile picture and cover photo. Remember, as a legacy contact, you can also request to have the memorialized account you're managing removed. So if you want to submit an account removal request, or if you have questions about being a legacy contact, please fill out this form. We've actually linked, we've put a screenshot of the form on the screen so you can see it, but the link is facebook.com help contact 2288 13 25 71 97 480. And here is how the form looks like. So it's called special request for a medically incapacitated or deceased person's account. So you can see that they're asking you again the same basic information: your full name, your contact email, the full name on the person's profile, the link to the person's profile, and they also want you to specify what you want Facebook to do, whether you want to you're asking the platform to memorialize the account, to remove this account because the account owner is deceased, to remove this account because the account owner is medically incapacitated, or whether you have a special request. You can see that as a legacy contact, you are in charge not only of a memorialized account, but also when the person becomes medically incapacitated. In other words, they're still alive, but they are now, they don't have full authority over the cognitive functions. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I hope you are still having a good time so far. Of course, we're talking about a relatively heavy subject, but it is important to talk about, to know these things, because as I said earlier, as I said at the beginning of the show, everybody has a Facebook profile these days, and this is a digital asset, so it's important to know how to manage the asset, how to mitigate risks, and sudden death or planned death could be one of those risks that we have to think about when managing our Facebook accounts. Deleting an account when the owner passes away. How the whole thing is done. Any user can choose to have their account permanently deleted if they pass away. This means that when someone lets Facebook know that a user has passed away, all of his or her messages, photos, posts, comments, reactions, and info will be immediately and permanently removed from Facebook. Now, Facebook is adamant at specifying the word permanently. In other words, they're assuring the public that when somebody passes away, the info is eradicated, is obliterated for good. So to request that your account be deleted, from the top right of Facebook, click the drop down arrow and select settings. Click memorialization settings. Scroll down, click request that your account be deleted after you pass away, and click delete after death. Now, what is the difference between deactivating and deleting an account? If you deactivate your account, you can reactivate whenever you want. So you have total authority, you have total flexibility. People cannot see your timeline or search for you. Some information may remain visible to others. Example, messages you sent. So the account is just deactivated. It's in limbo. If you think about it, it's in limbo. It can be reactivated at any time, which is why Facebook does not delete everything. They keep some information there. And a lot of people have used this sort of process in the last few years because Facebook can be addictive, or if for some reason people just want to get out of the platform temporarily, you can deactivate your account. You can turn it off. Just think about it as your cell phone. You turn it off and on and off and on and off and on and on and on and on. Now, unlike deactivating the account, if you delete your account, things are totally different. If you delete your account, you cannot regain access once it's deleted. Facebook generally delays deletion a few days after it's requested. A deletion request is canceled if you log back into your Facebook account during this time. Some information, such as messaging history, is not stored in your account. This means friends may still have access to messages you sent after your account has been deleted. Copies of some material, for example, log records, may remain in Facebook's database but are disassociated from personal identifiers. Again, as I said earlier, Facebook is adamant at making sure that people understand that the company is very strong when it comes to privacy. So they're telling you, if you delete your account, copies of log records, for example, might remain in the database, but they are not linked to your name, to your personal identifiers, such as name, date of birth, address, and so on and so forth. Okay, folks, this was it for today's conversation. Let me quickly give you a recap of the conversation. So, what will happen to my account when I die? I first spoke to you about something called memorialized accounts. And then we have legacy contacts. And I explained to you what legacy contacts can do, what they cannot do, how to add, change, or remove a legacy contact from your account, how to manage a memorialized account as a legacy contact. I also spoke about deleting an account when the owner passes away. And finally, I explained to you the difference between deactivating an account and deleting an account. So one has a short-term consequence, if you will, that is when you deactivate your account, and the other has a long-term consequence or a permanent consequence, which is when you delete your account. Thank you so much for listening to this conversation. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time, but until then, remember, stay healthy and marvelous.